It is 9:30 on the East Coast. It is Tuesday. That means one and only one thing, that Del Duduit is coming our way. He is standing by. We are running a bumper. We are, in fact, queued up with a bumper of his own and a background. He's in the green room. We are recording. We are streaming. We will switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, good evening. Welcome back. If you were here for the program at the top of the hour with Star Ayers standing in for Ben Cooper, you've already been blessed, but if you missed that, it's okay. You are about to be rocked, because every Tuesday night, Del Duduit, the most interesting man in the entire world, is here to join us. He blogs at delduduit.com. I will put that on the screen for you so that when you try to spell it, you'll do it right. Del, I didn't read your blog until late today. I wish I would have read it earlier. What an inspiration from your upcoming release of Dugout Devotions 2. There. Like that. Yeah, I like that. Sorry. You write better than I produce.
Yeah, Curtis Granderson was, I still think he's one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done, and I've done quite a bit. Curtis Granderson, obviously, if you know anything about professional baseball, Curtis Granderson is not a legend yet. I think he will be. He'll probably make the Hall of Fame. Curtis Granderson was just a fantastic interview, and he didn't know me. None of these folks know me until I approached them. And some of them at times are kind of standoffish and a little leery of the media, which they have a right to be.
Yeah.
And then he was playing for Florida, and I was out of Cincinnati, and wanted to get to him. So I was able to go up to him about 3 hours prior to the game when they're all getting ready. And I did my typical, "Hey, Mr. Granderson," and I introduced myself. I said, "This is what I'd love to talk to you about." And he goes, well, heck yeah. He said, "Nobody ever asked me about that." And so it was just not what he said, it was just how he said it, how he treated me. And with utterance, took time to spend time with me and to get to know me, and just was very forthcoming and very hospitable, very mannerly and very respectful, and took 15-20 minutes out of his time he was preparing to get ready for a baseball game, and that's his job, right? So I was infringing on his job. So, and then after we're done, we're talking a little bit. I said, "Hey, would love to go out and maybe take some pictures, like give you a copy of the book," because the clubhouse rules are no pictures inside the clubhouse.
Okay.
I could lose my credentials. I could get thrown out. So most of the time, in the dugout or on the field's fair game, they don't care. So I said, I'd love to, go out maybe in the dugout or on the field and get a couple of pictures. He said, well, heck yeah. And it's not just like it's right there. It's a bit of a walk to get to the clubhouse to the field. And so we chatted as we walked, and he was asking me about my life and my family and everything. So a genuinely good person that I was able to spend probably 20 minutes with and get his stories of inspiration and include them in Dugout Devotions 2, which we're very excited. We just saw the cover the other day, and we're real excited about this cover. And, of course, the cover's one of the main things that attracts people when they're in the store. They're going to see the cover and say, "Oh, I like that," or they'll glaze by it. So it's very crucial, and I really like the way this cover turned out, and I'm really excited for this release here coming up, February-ish time frame.
Okay, let me interrupt you, Del, just real quickly. Your image is pixelating. Hey, there it came back. Okay. God just intervened, I guess. Your voice was there the whole time.
I guess so. I didn't do anything. Yeah. I guess I just belched or something.
That's what created the problem. I don't know. As you were sharing that, Del, I've reached out to people for various purposes, like you do for an interview. But I've noticed that the higher up they go up that ladder of influence, the harder they are to get to, and the more rings of security are gatekeepers that you have to jump to get to them.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the case. And like a great example of that is when I was wanting to get.
I hope you didn't accidentally turn your mic off when you touched it. No? Okay. Well, let's do this. What I'm going to do, because your voice did go away, I still very much see your image. Folks in the chat room, give me some feedback. What I'm going to do real quick is see if we can restore this. Stand by just a moment, folks. Okay. Dell? No audio that I can see. All right, move around a little bit. You're still moving. Okay. All right, I'm going to disconnect and reconnect real quick. Just try that. Okay, how about now? Sure is. No problem. No problem. Let's get back on it. Well, folks, I forget where we were. I had said it's hard to reach people. Then you were responding to that. I forget where we're at.
Yeah, I was talking about my encounter with Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. And at that time, Aaron was having a breakout year. He was a rookie, having a breakout year, rookie of the year. And, he was with the Yankees. And so that's as big as you can get, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to try to get to Aaron Judge. And normally I don't ask permission. I just go to the game and go into the clubhouse prior to the game, and they're going to be there. Mm-hmm. So I just go up and talk to them, right? But I figured, the Yankees, I better send a message to them. So I got in touch with the person I needed to be in touch with. One of the media relations people. Send him a little email. Hey, I want to try to get to Aaron Judge just for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. He'll be up there for 3 days. Normally, surely to goodness, you can give me 2 minutes. And within probably an hour, I got a response. No, they just said his Aaron's his time. He's everybody wants him. Everyone has talked to him. Everybody wants to. And I said, I get it. Thanks anyway. Thanks. Blah blah blah. And that's their job, is to protect their players. So I totally get that. So I thought, they weren't denying me access to the clubhouse. They were saying, no, you can't talk to Aaron. All right. So I said, great. So I went up there anyway, and walked to the clubhouse because I was going to the game anyway, prior to the game. And lo and behold, sitting at a table all by himself on his cell phone texting was Aaron Judge. So I just walked up. I said, hey, Mr. Judge. I said, you got a couple of minutes? Yeah, sure. Sit down. So we have a great conversation. The guy's 6'9", so when he stood up, I was looking right in his chest, And so we had a great conversation, and we exchanged pleasantries and thank you for your time, blah 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 blah. And as I was exiting, about 20 minutes later, a gentleman in a suit came up. He said, hey, I saw you talk to Aaron. I said, yeah. And he introduced himself, and I said, hey, you're the guy who told me no. And he said, hey, I said, you're just doing, I said, I get it. It's no big deal. I said, you told me no, and I came up here and got to him anyway. He said, well, congratulations. He says, Aaron doesn't do too many one-on-ones. And so I said, hey, it just must have been a favor of God on me. So obviously we were able to get that done. So yeah, the higher up they go, the stardom, sometimes the hoops you have to jump through,
particularly with athletes and celebrities and things like that. We hold them so high up, so on a pedestal, to a standard that they cannot possibly meet. The fact is, they put their pants on like we do. They have problems, they have joys, they have sorrows.
Well, that was one of the takes from the blog. Was that?
Yeah, I was teeing it up for you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis obviously, talked about some of the being on that pedestal, and that he doesn't particularly, he hasn't asked to be on that pedestal, but his career is put him there. So he accepts it, he embraces it, he uses his platform for the right reasons, but he still stays grounded with friends. And he is a friend to people. And he was telling me about some of his friends that he stays in touch with, and some of the struggles, and some of his struggles. He's not, these guys have problems too. They just have a lot of resources to help with their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them do, some of them don't. I was reading a story the other day where a gentleman who played for the Cleveland Cavs that was completely rock bottom, homeless. And, Mark Cuban, the owner, went to this gentleman's rescue, because here's a man who made millions of dollars, won an NBA title, and homeless now because of bad choices and the wrong friends.
I was going to say, when you make that kind of money, you have people who appear to be your friends who are really not.
Yeah, so he obviously made some bad choices, and his friends took advantage of him and let him down. So the importance of being a good friend, and a good friend, you show respect. A good friend, you forgive. A good friend supports you. A good friend will hold you accountable for things, and a good friend, will set boundaries. They just won't say, "Hey, Bark, everything you're doing is great."
Yeah, they'll challenge you.
They'll challenge me. And one of the things I learned from my friend Clint Hurdle, former manager of the Pirates, was he had what he called this Mount Rushmore of friends. That he has this little board, a little board of directors, he calls it, that they meet with monthly. They have coffee or whatever, and they sit around and they hold each other accountable. Iron sharpens iron. And he said, the hardest thing to do sometimes is to be a friend and tell that friend you're messing up.
You're out of line. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have a little board that I've established because of that. And I told Clint that. I said, hey, what you did inspired me. And Mike Matheny, the former manager of the Cardinals, does the same thing. So I've got a core group of men that I will reach out to, about once a quarter, and we'll visit, and we'll say what's going good, what's going bad, what do you need help with, how's everything going? Be honest with me. What struggles are you facing? And you talk about it, and that's what a good friend is. A good friend isn't just going to be everything's great, and sometimes this burns me sometimes. I hear dads, and there's nothing wrong with this. I hear dads tell me, hey, my kids are great. They're my best friend. And I want my kids to like me. I want my kids to respect me. But by golly, being their best friend is probably the worst thing a parent can be to their kids when they're growing up, because they're going to, be their friend instead of being their parent. It's not your job to be their buddy. It's your job to call them out. It's your job to say no. Sometimes you can't have this, or no, get off your can and work for this, or no, be quiet and sit down. Show some respect. So a buddy won't do that. A parent will. So there's one guy I know who's a father, and his son has just been nothing but trouble. And he said about a year ago, hey, I'm his buddy. And I wanted to say, that's his problem. You're not his dad or his parent. You're his buddy. And he doesn't need a buddy. He needs somebody to crack him in the butt. He needs somebody to smack him in the head and say, stop it, shut up, sit down, mind your manners, mind the rules, and live your life. So sometimes being a buddy is the worst thing a parent can do. Sorry I got off on that tangent. That's my opinion.
No, you inspired me to share a story from coaching.
Yeah.
A lot of coaching gets down. There's a lot of psychological dynamics. Okay. First, you have to strip the individual down of his personal identity. Not literally in the real world, but for purposes of this football team, you're not an individual. You are part of a team. So, no, you're not going to wear this, or we're a team. But it involves. Here, let me get to the punchline. Work with these young men, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and the best compliment that I can remember getting is one after they had graduated. They're coming back to a homecoming, to a game, and we met, and they said, Coach, I used to think of you as my tormentor, but I realized now all along you were just my mentor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought, wow.
There's a difference between yelling and screaming at somebody and being stern and being, trying to motivate them. And, I missed some of the old coaches, like a Bob Knight or somebody who was kind of rough on kids. But, every player who played for Bob Knight will defend that guy to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had a coach like that. I a coach like that. And today, Lou Holtz, a good guy like that. Today, they can't do those things because they'll get sued because we have such a wimpy generation.
It's about me.
It's about me. It's about being offended.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you can have the right to do. It's about authority and the rebellious nature that we have against authority today. No matter what, the police, authority. People can't stand authority, and that's why this world's going to socialism and fascism, because they've been shoved down their brains and down their throats all these times that authority's wrong.
Well,
authority's
athletics so well illustrates, when you're on that field, you're on a platform for public view. And it's great, the ego satisfaction, but if you don't take that out of it, it becomes that people want to be on the platform, they want to be on the field, but they don't want to pay the price to get there. And it's a high price, but it's a high prize. So if it's a high prize, there should be a high price. So,
they don't want to take the time to get there. I mean, we live in a generation that's me now, right now. I mean, we have fast food restaurant, all that you can get it right now. You don't have to wait. Mm-hmm. You have internet service just like that. We don't have to wait for anything. But by golly, they'll go wait for an hour and a half for Texas Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
even then they want to go to the front of the line. They want to what chaps my hind parts is when people park. There's a parking lot out there. Why are you parking on the sidewalk? Who do you think you are? And I just want to anyway. Something struck me.
Generation.
Exactly. Yeah. Something struck me about your blog today because it was about building friendships and the value of those friendships. And you toward the bottom of the blog, you had several bullet points. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading through them and I'm nodding my head. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. But then about the third or fourth one down, I realized this is not a list of suggestions on how to get good friends. It's a list of suggestions on how to be a good friend.
Right. Yeah, to be a good, to have good friends, you have to be a friend first. And not unless you're popular or else you have a lot of money, people don't want to be your friend. They want to be your friend then. So, but to be a friend takes, something else. I mean, I have a lot of good friends because I try to do that. I mean, I have met a lot of fantastic people. Out on social media now. I mentioned in the past, Amy in the past from Dallas, and I can't get in the chat room right now, so I don't see who's all out there today. I had some issues with that, but I think I have a friend Jay who's going to be tuning in from California. So you have to be a friend, and you have to be friendly, and you have to engage people, and you have to respect and boundaries, and you have to do all these things. You don't have to, but it's
Well, you have to think of friendship as a bank account, okay?
Yeah.
You have to make deposits into that account. You can't make withdrawals. If you start making withdrawal after withdrawal, you're going to become overdrawn. So with relationships, it was Michelle Medlock Adams that said last week, you grow relationships. Right. It's not a matter of knowing, it's a matter of growing. So we need to invest in one another. Now, the question I have is, how in the world do people get through this world without the fellowship of believers when things happen that rock your world? And they will. Mm-hmm. I feel genuinely sorry for the lost or unchurched individual who is left to their own to deal with it.
Well, they're kind of left to the wolves at that point sometimes, because in that world, if you're not contributing to them, then they're just going to leave you. Whereas the world you and I live in, if they're having struggles, we come to them and we try to help them through it instead of just saying, he's done, he'll never get through this, let's move on. So
I think you mentioned in your blog, there was a reference in there, when you get down and out, that's when you find out who your friends really are.
yeah, and if you don't do it too often, I mean, everybody gets down and out. I get down and out, and I don't tell a whole lot of people about it. So some people who are close to me know and can tell, and you appreciate those people like that who can reach out. But so yeah, I think you just touched on a good point there on that. So being down and out, yes, being down and discouraged. But if you become one of those folks who every other week, oh, life's terrible, eventually you're gonna shoo those people away.
Well, you make too many withdrawals on that friendship account.
Yeah.
And I think I think we all know of people in our lives that the only time we ever hear from them is they have a need. That's not a real friend.
No, and what I try to do, I'm not always successful, is I try to encourage everybody that I meet, either on Twitter, either on Instagram, which I can't stand Instagram, but I try to encourage and inspire through my blogs or my posts somewhere or along the way. And am I perfect? No, I have issues and I have problems like everybody else does. Just like Curtis, you talked about. Hey, I've got some problems too, but you know what? I really don't want to. I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about how good things are. How good God's been to me, and deal with His love and His mercy helps you deal with the bad pressures, and He sends people into your lives to help you. So be a good friend, and you'll have good friends. Good friends, not people who just say everything to you, everything's great. People who hold you accountable, and you hold them accountable, and that's what it's about sometimes.
Folks, you're hearing some really good stuff from Del Didway, but all of this is also found in his blog at deldidway.com, where he blogs every Tuesday.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be being thrown a little bit more out there in the next few months about Dugout Devotions 2, be coming out next year. We're looking forward to it. We've had a busy year this year with 3 launches. We have 4 next year, but that's what I signed up for. And it's fun. It's sometimes a lot to chew off, but we'll be heading down to Florida here in a couple of weeks at the Florida Christian Writers Conference, speaking, teaching at a class, a couple of classes. I've been invited to speak at a breakfast, and so we're looking forward to meeting up with old folks. That some old friends. That conference is kind of sentimental to me because that's where it all started for me.
Right, I
was at that conference 2 straight years. So I had really good meetings. And looking forward to going back there.
Del, I want to wrap it up, but I've observed, having been in radio, I'm fascinated to see how you have really thrown yourself at this radio gig you're doing. Are you the only radio personality in the world that gets on there and says on Twitter and says, "Come check it out"?
I think so, and then we have listeners all over the world. I mean, I have a real good friend out on Twitter. Franca lives in Russia, and she sent me a note. Hey, you guys sound great. And my friend Amy in Dallas. Hey, I get up every morning just to listen to you guys now. So yeah, it's really neat. And you put it on Twitter and you promote it, and hopefully the station managers see that. We do the same thing out on Facebook and on Instagram, trying to generate a buzz out there. And they don't have they're not going to know about it. Hey, I think I'll get up and try to find Del on the radio today. It just doesn't happen. You got to tell them.
Well, it's first of all, people are scared to death to do that. I won't share the testimony I've shared previously from Atlanta. They're afraid to do that, but they're afraid of rejection.
Oh, rejection's a part of life. Holy cow! Especially if you work in sales.
No kidding.
Rejection, you got to thrive on it.
Yeah, it's. But once you get past that, okay, and you get comfortable with doing it, now we have to walk that tightrope of is it about me or is it about the thing I'm involved in? And a lot of athletes today are doing things that I never could have done on that field. If you turn toward the stands and even acknowledge that I'll tell you a story. We're over time, but I love this. We had pep rallies, and the seniors were always allowed to speak. At the pep rally, they walk out there, And I sat out there for years watching this, and it disgusted me because they kind of, they're shy. Well, we've been working hard this week, and I hope y'all come out and support us, and it just, this is anemic. And I couldn't wait till I became a senior. So now it's my turn. I was second in line. There were like 3 of us, a big school, you understand. And I was second. The first guy gave the typical anemic speech like I just did. And I got up there and I bowed my chest up and said, I am proud to be an Osceola Warrior. The game starts at 7. Tickets are $1. I don't care if you show up or not, but you can come watch us kick their butts. The place erupted. That pep rally was over. Okay. And by the way, saying kick their butts at a Christian school in the 70s was obscene. That was profanity, I think. Yeah. But I meant it. We are not, as players, we are not aware of what's going on in the stands. Not in today's world.
No, we don't have athletes today. We have activists today. Not all of them are that way, but for the most part, they're activists, and that's why, as a sports writer, it's hard for me. Hey, this is what October. What is today? October the 7th. I haven't watched it. I have not watched an NFL game this year, and you know what? My life's fine.
I didn't watch one.
I have not watched an NBA game, and I'm fine. If they would play ball, shut their mouths, honor America, I'll watch them again. But until that day comes, I don't need them. My life is perfectly good without them.
Don't they realize, Dell, that at a football game you could be standing in the vicinity of a person from the other political party, and at least for the duration of that game we agree on something and we can be excited and treat each other decently. They could be such a unifying force.
It used to be. Remember when the World Trade Centers were hit, and the one thing that brought America together was President Bush walking out on Yankee Stadium, throwing out that first pitch. That's what it's about. Though today, we have athletes who don't even love America, let alone who would put their life on the line to throw out a baseball. And he put his life on the line to throw out a ball at a baseball game. Today, we have a bunch of wimps, cowards, and activists who put on a uniform and call themselves a warrior. I know Girl Scouts who are better warriors than some of these NFL activist wusses.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't need them, and I won't watch them anymore.
Well, I think the results are coming in, and
I got a big charge. The NBA Finals down 68%.
Yeah. Oh, that's because they're competing with the NFL for airtime now. Is it going to be their story? I think that may be a part of it, but I think that even if it weren't,
it's standing up for fascist organizations and putting them on their chest and walking around mandating we do. Yeah. I don't need them. Yeah. So sorry. Get up on a tangent.
If I saw this post on social media, if I wanted to take advice from something that chases a ball, I'd ask my dog.
Yeah. But the dog's happy to see you. So
always. Well, Dell, listen, it's always a joy to have a conversation with you on Tuesday night, and you bring so much to the table. There is so much, folks. For those of you, we had some visitors in our chat room that are new. They may still be watching. I don't know, but folks, I'll always remember.
My attorneys probably.
Yeah. That we once struggled. We were once a platform that had 2 live guests per week, but Dell was the first one that saw the vision of providing a platform for everyday Christians to share their walk with Christ, and he committed to appearing weekly before anybody else. And he's been with us from the very beginning, at the tip of this, when there was nothing to believe in except an idea. He was with us, and Dell, I'll always be deeply in your debt for your vision, for your boldness, and for your faithfulness. And I really appreciate you teaming up with us.
Thank you.
All right.
Always a joy.
Always a joy. Folks, Dell Didway right here on PJ TV. Folks, that is going to wrap it up for me for the evening. What a great time we've had. And you know what? We'll do this again tomorrow night about the same time. We start at 9 p.m. Eastern. And it is really my honor and pleasure to sit in this seat and be a part of it. And I want to thank each of you who join us on social media, just watching perhaps, or watching the replays. But for those especially of you who take your time and invest part of your life by logging in to our live chat room at pjnet.tv, you truly are the core strength of the mission, the backbone of the mission of pjnet.tv, and I am deeply grateful and deeply indebted to all of you who are so faithful. Hey, before I leave, I want to ask you 2 questions. They're very serious. I want you to answer these to yourself between you and God. Number 1, what is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? Number 2, when was that? You've heard testimony from Dale tonight about what it means to be a real friend. Sometimes it takes boldness to face the realities that we face in this world. So it is my hope that none of us would ever be satisfied with either answer.